So America just reached this breaking point. We are currently in an era where people are celebrating the death of the United Healthcare CEO, making a massive trend out of it while vilifying Daniel Penny. This isn't random, it's happening for a reason, and we're going to break down those reasons in this video, and I believe this is my most interesting video to date.
Our mission and values are focused on helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone. Data is at the core of our agenda to improve healthcare, which directly influences how we develop innovative consumer solutions.
I don't think he did it. But you know what? Even if he did do it, you know what I mean?
Excuse me, ma'am. We're looking for the gunman who shot CEO Brian Thompson.
In case you guys are not seeing. So TikTok has been taken over. Instagram has been taken over. Twitter has been taken over. YouTube has been taken over. I can type any type of social media that you could insert has been taken over by the shooter of the United Healthcare CEO. People have made a hero out of this guy, someone that we typically would view as a villain. This comes right after the verdict with Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely. We have these same people, and I can prove it's the same people that are attacking Daniel Penny, praising this shooter. Now, I think this thing right here, to me, is a case study. This is worth having a video on, and it's worth diving into, because we have to compare these two scenarios. We have a scenario where a man didn't actually physically affect anybody, being the healthcare CEO, and Jordan Neely, who was physically in people's faces, threatening them, saying that he would do things that would harm them. He was subdued and handled, and Daniel Penny is now the villain. We have a healthcare CEO that was doing his job, whether it be in ways that people don't like. How much proof do they know if that man directly affected their life? This is someone that we don't have proof of directly affecting someone's life. We do know he's a part of an entity that did. Hell, he could have made policies that affect someone's life. But we're talking about this physical person being in front of them affecting their life. The healthcare CEO did not. Yet he is praised for being dead. Why? I mean, I'm breaking this down in this video, but for those that don't have the patience, I'm going to say it right here. The main thing is relatability. People can't relate to Jordan Neely. He's a dude in New York City that was harming people on the subway. Most people, they don't even understand about a subway experience, but everyone has had a loved one through the healthcare system. Everyone has had a loved one not get the result that they wanted through the healthcare system. So since they can relate to the story, they automatically choose their heroes. And to me, it kind of verifies the fact that not just America, but humans as a whole are extremely selfish. We're extremely selfish. It's beyond belief. Because it doesn't matter if an innocent man dies, as long as someone that we love possibly didn't like him, if it justifies our wants and needs for his death. It's crazy, and it's downright barbaric. We have become barbarians in this nation.
Thompson, have you seen this man?
Yeah, let me see. Oh. And, they don't know where this guy is?
No, ma'am.
That's too bad. He's so scary. I'd hate to run into him in a dark alley. Oh. Here, I haven't seen him, but I'll keep my eye out for him.
Thank you for your time.
Here, can I see that again? Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, I'm seeing so many people criticize the reactions of like excitement about the United Healthcare CEO getting shot. They're like, it is not. This is not okay. This is an innocent man who was killed. You cannot celebrate the killing of an innocent man. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, the fuck it isn't. This is a dude whose job it is to commit murder behind a corporate veil.
See, and this is the thing, man. For y'all that's still watching right now, let me give you a shout out real quick. Appreciate you for checking out this content from this long. But it's people like him why we have problems in America, why we cannot progress. If people like him had the authority to make change, we would be in a barbaric state. You can't just kill people because you don't get what you want. It doesn't matter. I have a mother that was through the healthcare system and treated unfairly. But nonetheless, I don't want someone to pull the man out in the streets. We're supposed to be civilized people, but to sit here and romanticize the guy, to sit here and defend him, I know I might lose some subscribers for this, but I have to draw the line on that, you know? I have to draw the line on that. I can't sit here and talk about something that's too far to threaten a Republican politician and sit here and allow this. You see, the thing is, freedom of speech truly ain't free until you allow the people you don't like to speak. Freedom of speech means nothing if the people that you want to have a platform has a platform. If the people that you agree with are able to speak. It only matters when those that you don't are able to talk. And they want to silence his voice. I believe this guy, if he's as bad as they're saying, which I believe it's not unwarranted, I believe he should have left it up to the courts. The courts should decide his fate, because that's how our nation has been built. If you allow this, you set the precedence for our country to become barbaric. I have to keep using this word because I can't think of another term. You create the precedence for our country to become barbaric, and there's no way to come back from that.
Wolves who want to kill you for money. These are people whose job it is to take money from you and then make you think that you're going to be covered when an emergency happens. And then when your 4-year-old daughter has leukemia, they go like, oh dude, stall. She'll die. Just wait it out. She'll die. And if she doesn't die, buy us time to find out why we can, deny this claim. It doesn't matter. Fuck them. And I'm seeing so many people say like, vigilante justice is never okay. It's never okay to do that. It ain't okay for the first option. But nothing else is happening. You'd like to think that there's laws in place that...
This is the thing. Everyone has problems with healthcare. There are so many ways to make it movement. There are so many ways to make yourself known and make a difference. And I'm not just talking about petitions. If Black Lives Matter can change the world, enough people pissed off about healthcare can change the world. It went viral. We've seen companies actually bend the knee to BLM and try to represent whatever the messaging was that BLM tried to appropriate. I don't agree with it, no. But I can't deny that it didn't help change America for the worse. But it changed it. It changed our nation because people were loud. They were vocal. They didn't let it go. We're supposed to fight the right way. We can't be fighting backwards, because who's to say another CEO can't be the next target? And that's going to be the innocent one. You got to understand, when narratives are built like this and people back up these narratives, they only set the precedence for them to be next on the list. We've seen Trump get banned on social media. People followed. Prior to Trump, we've seen people like Alex Jones, get banned. Trump followed. So these narratives, they're set off of one person. If people accept it, that tells the power that be that this is now the status quo.
Prevent people from committing corporate murder. Like everyone's like, oh, it should go to the courts then. If it's a crime, it should go to the courts. You'd love to see that, but it ain't happening. It doesn't happen. These people get away with it and they get paid millions for it, because the people who are in charge of that you'd hope would create laws that would protect you, they're getting checks under the table. They don't give a fuck. They're like, the people who could stop this are like, yeah, we looked at the laws, and actually the fine print actually kind of says that this is we actually haven't found any crimes here, so we're going to let this continue on without punishment. I did surprisingly get my 3rd yacht overnight, so I will be taking that to the south of France if you need to reach me. When you have money, you manipulate the game, and when you don't have money, you get manipulated. And you don't get to be upset when you push people to the point of having nothing, and then they act as if they have nothing. I seen one lady on here that was like, dude, she was like a rich middle-aged white woman with emerald earrings the size of fucking rocks hanging from her ears, and her hands were in frame, and the ring on her, dude, it was a fucking house.
And it's hilarious to me, these people, a lot of them actually end up being liberals, complaining about this topic, right? Eat the rich, eat the rich, eat the rich, all this and that, right? When these are the same people donating to their political opponents, to our political opponents, apologies. They're the ones that's donating to United Healthcare them. They're the ones that's donating against them and their beliefs. They're the ones that's keeping Democrats in rule of their cities. They're the ones that's keeping their, man, it's oh my God, if I could just put it into words. You got to understand. The United Healthcare system is working with Big Pharma, which is working with the Food Administration, Food and Drug Administration. It's working with multiple industries, right? All of those industries are heavily liberal. You have liberals celebrating the death of someone that simply was valuable to their cause. They don't even understand this is their model. These are the people on your side, man. You just got to be aware of who's on your side. I'm not vilifying all liberals, but you got to be aware of who's on your side. That's like me being ignorant to black people taking up majority of gangbanging in America. Just be simply aware of who's to your left and who's to your right so you can make an accurate decision. Stop making movements with your eyes closed. Bro, it's your own people.
On her finger and like a red turtleneck, and she was like, when did we stop being human? This is not okay. This is an innocent man, Brian Simpson, who lost his life. Lady! This one doesn't involve you, Barbara. I don't think this one's for you, my love. Off with you. Dude, I was raised normally, like, well, you know, I got some screws loose too, but I was raised by like a normal mom and dad, probably like a lot of us.
Yeah, and we can tell that, but this is the problem with this. People are so willing to get behind a camera and make the most macho man comments. It's so easy to do that behind a TV screen. It's so easy to do that, to talk about you wish to death on a man. It is absolutely cowardice, in my opinion, because you can be whatever you want to be when you're on a TV screen. So everyone chooses to be big and bad. Just be yourself. Why are people trying to rationalize a murder? He's not a good person. It does not matter. I wouldn't advocate that for any of our political opponents that we have.
Here, like my dad, you know, traditional dude, he was like, hey man, you want to go out and make money, you go fucking get it, but you have respect, you don't steal, you don't fuck people over, right? You're a grown-ass man, you got 2 arms, 2 legs, you go make your own fucking, if you want to make a gazillion bucks, go get it, kid, but you don't fuck people over, you have some fucking honor in this world, right? You fucking do it the right way. This is not a man who got killed innocently. This is not a regular dude who got killed innocently. This is the guy who commits murder behind the corporate veil. And if you ask me, I mean, I would honestly go as far as to say this is pretty tame. Because let's entertain the hypothetical here that this is a very real chance that this was like a victim of this guy's healthcare bullshit, insurance shit, and he had a daughter with leukemia who they denied his claim and the daughter died. Like, dude, I said about my dad, like my dad is like an old, like the ultimate, like, don't fuck with my family type guy, or we're both going down together type. Like, he's old school, blue collar, Alberta dude. Like, fuck, we're Canadian, so we have fucking healthcare, thank God. But dude, if you took away one of his kids because he was paying you for healthcare, and then you were like, what's your son's name? Connor? Oh, we only cover children with 7-letter names, not 6. Dude, let's just say he's not showing up with with subsonic rounds and a mask on, dude. He's showing up with a bazooka with a switch on it, Charleston White style. Hell yeah, I got switches. And dude, I know I'm talking extremes, like I'm talking, like, I get as a blanket statement, it's not okay to fucking kill people, and you can't just go killing people. Obviously, I know that, because then the floodgates open, it's too many. I get it, right? But I'm not going to talk, I'm not going to judge what this guy was going through as if I would be on some moral high ground if I was in the same place. And everyone's like, no, it doesn't matter. You have to let it go through the courts. I pray your composure doesn't get tested like that then. And if you're some person who still doesn't understand why the masses would be rejoicing in this act, then I'm actually jealous of you.
No one is confused about it. No one is confused. We're talking about the same nation that celebrates when serial killers look attractive. We have problems in America, and that's because we have this underdog mentality. We are a nation that broke away from our parent nation, so we can't help but kind of support the underdog, and we do it in a chronic sense almost here in America. If we view anyone in an underdog in any type of way, or somewhat I could say an antagonist, let's be real. We're an antagonistic country. Britain was the protagonist. We were the antagonist to Britain. Now, in our story, Britain was the antagonist, but we were antagonizing because the definition of antagonist is someone that tries to change the way and order of life. And a protagonist is someone that tries to maintain the current order. We were definitely antagonists. We changed the entire world when we broke away from Great Britain. So we can't help but somewhat sympathize with the antagonistic, bad guy, underdog, all bets against him hero. And we're doing that in a chronic sense. We're even doing it for the bad guys. So I can kind of understand where it comes from, but I can't justify it.
Because that means you're probably some rich, detached person who doesn't know what it's like. And in which case, off with you. Love you. See you later.
Man, I love New York City. So the NYPD chief just came in and said that not one person has contacted them about the person of interest in the unaliving of the CEO. Like, I'm telling y'all, no.
They don't have data.
Nobody is mad at him and nobody wants him to go to motherfucking jail.
That's a
Like,
lie.
I'm sorry, but as New Yorkers, we don't snitch. That's just something about us. If y'all didn't know, now y'all gonna find out.
And that's why you have a problem in New York City.
Like, even the mayor is mad as fuck at us, like, at us fucking New Yorkers, because we're not snitching. I'm so sorry, but, like, all those people that you done pissed off, it was not only him, like, all those people.
Don't you just love it when one person talks about themselves and then try to, try to make a somewhat a theory on how everyone else is just like that? Maybe you don't snitch. Maybe you okay with it. They don't have the information. You can't put that on a whole city.
Who got denied coverage, who got denied their claims, like, y'all gonna learn to stop playing with people's health insurance. I'm telling y'all right now.
And it kills me how people are just so happy about it and somewhat kind of like, I don't want to say they're taking blame from it. Well, taking credit from the shooting. But they'll be like, you're going to stop doing this. You're going to stop doing that. It's if it's a threat to people. Like, you guys are just observers. You didn't pop the motherfucker. You have nothing to do with this. I can't stand with...
Everybody's coming together and we holding this man down. Like, it's literally been 3 days and there hasn't been an inch of information about this man. And then the people on the news, like CNN and shit, they over here talking about, oh, it's so crazy how not one person who knows this man has reached out to help us get him in custody. Like, y'all are really failing to fucking realize, like, people don't want him to be found. People are literally sympathizing with this man right now. And that's just what happens when a whole bunch of people feel the same way and somebody finally did something about it. Even though it may not be the correct way, but people are seeing this shit as motherfucking justice. You will be fucking surprised, y'all. New York is not for the motherfucking weak. I'm telling y'all this shit.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that video of the United Health CEO who got unalived in New York City. It was pre-planned.
So this individual is going to break this down. And I think anyone that's watching this video, they would be inclined to watch this breakdown. It's not long at all. Not long at all. Very quick. After this breakdown, we go into the next part of this video, which is the great part of it, where we compare this reaction with Daniel Penny. I hope those that's been watching and remembers that Daniel Penny is still a part of this. And it's going to make sense when I bring this all together.
And it was premeditated, but what they found was the shell said, deny, defend, depose. That might not mean anything to you, but that is a shot for every CEO of every insurance company around the world, maybe even in North America. What that means is this: insurance companies, even though you've been paying insurance to get insured for something, they're going to try to deny that claim, and they're going to try finding a way to doing it. And if you dare try to sue them for it, what they'll do is they will defend that. You will have to sue for coverage. And that's what the issue is. Depose is part of the lawsuit process, where when you get sued, you have to be deposed as a part of that process. That message is a message for, I believe, every CEO that's out there that is in the insurance business, because this is how they make their profit. They make it on denying claims. And so that is going to be a shot that I think is going to be heard around the world, or multiple shots. It's not good for them. And I think it's getting to the point where people are just getting sick of getting their claims denied, even though they have insurance for it. I hear about it from people who actually had cars stolen from them. So a car gets stolen, it disappears, and they will deny any sort of automobile rental. And I know this because I have friends that this has happened to. I've had people on TikTok message me saying that this has happened to them. So this is nothing new. That's what those 3 words mean: deny, defend, depose. Apparently that's what was written on the shell casings.
The jury.
So that somewhat tells us that this was very intentional, and it's a movement that's supposed to reflect the people. Now, this is my fear, and here comes the conspiracy in me. I fear that the person that really did this assassination, the person behind this, right, is some very selfish individual that cares nothing about the people, but understood that the individual that was their target, being the United Healthcare CEO, would gain little sympathy if they made the shooter approach this situation as a hero. So with them putting those shell cases on there, it now has built a profile for people to assume what this person is. And now it looks like he's the Robin Hood coming to get rid of this guy that's making everyone's lives horrible. Well, my theory and what I fear is that it could really very well just be an individual that wanted him gone for his own ulterior motives and is choosing to sell it that way so people can advocate, and even police can not try to really look into how deep this goes, because even if they find the assassin, possibly that story was pushed out there so people don't look deeper. I mean, it's been proven that when certain hits are put on people, that sometimes the hitmen will make it and stage it as if there was a robbery. They'll take a chain off your neck or steal something off you. That way, when the police go to check, they will classify it as a robbery and not look too deep into it. It could be a robbery gone wrong. Matter of fact, we have some police that's in his comments I know can guarantee verify this. There's a striking number of quote-unquote robberies gone wrong that actually were hit jobs. So people can definitely put some thought into these situations, create the narrative, and execute. I fear this was actually what's going on, because it seems much larger than just a Robin Hood that cared about the American citizens.
Deliberating on the fate of Daniel Penny, a 26-year-old Marine veteran who choked to death 30-year-old Jordan Neely on a subway train. I haven't seen a lot of this on my timeline, and it troubles me because this case seems a lot to me like the Trayvon Martin case. It also seems a lot like the George Floyd case, really. We can talk about Eric Garner, but it really brings to light how people are still putting folks in chokeholds. And these is people of all stripes, not just the police. And in all the discourse I've heard about this, primarily the discourse coming from the right, it really is pitting Danielle Penny against poverty, against homelessness, against mental illness, not to mention against black people. So you have this white former Marine who just kills a homeless black man essentially for no reason. And I'm saying it that way because of characterizations like this from Fox News. A 30-year-old homeless man who barged onto a Manhattan subway car shouting death threats. Now, no doubt, living in New York, I've been on plenty of subway when someone came on and is in the middle of some kind of mental health crisis, and I'm concerned or frightened. But what people like the police and Danielle Penny do is they weaponize their fear and the implicit bias they have against all black and brown people to just kill us. And this is what happened here. And I was watching some of I couldn't really watch a lot of the clips because honestly, it was too traumatizing to watch them ask strap hangers, well, how did you feel when Jordan Neely was on the train? And them talk about their fear as though it's legitimizing killing the man.
Now, mind you, these are the same type of people. This Negro right here, this woman, I could guarantee my left testicle that she is celebrating for the death of the United Health CEO, or is either indifferent. Now, I could be wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong to this young woman. But it's individuals like this that don't care anything about anyone unless it fits their narrative or it affects their life. It just shows how selfish America is. People understand that they said death threats, right? At the end of the day, it said death threats. She started this video saying that Jordan Neely had death threats. Okay, listen to this chat. Can we say that the United Health Care CEO created death threats? Oh, but he led to deaths. Oh, but he did this and that. Jordan Neely been arrested plenty of times. The United Health Care CEO, was he arrested plenty of times? So it's like people choose their heroes and their villains depending on their own circumstances. People sympathize with the shooter because they didn't get a favorable end result with working with healthcare. And that bitterness, right? It creates a narrative and creates a false hero. And bitterness is very dangerous. And there also is a lesson to this of treating people right. Yeah, we wouldn't have these problems if we had better healthcare systems. I'm not going to sit here like an elitist and act like it's perfect. It's screwed up. This wouldn't even be a problem if we had better systems. But we don't. And we can't go out doing things the way we want because we don't have it. We have to advocate for it and fight for it, but not kill for it. We can't just sit here and say Daniel Penny deserves to rot in prison and think the United Healthcare CEO should get shot. Like, we have to have a doable justice system. And Daniel Penny was found innocent on manslaughter charges. People still want to get rid of him. This United Healthcare CEO didn't get the chance to stand a day in court, and yet people are celebrating his death. This is the hypocrisy that Americans have to work on. And I got to give liberals a little bit more slack on this because the main people attacking Daniel Penny, unfortunately, are liberals. Whether it be black or white, it's mainly liberals, unfortunately. And that's where I say again, you got to look at your left, look at your right, and identify who's in the party with you. The problem is your own party. Sometimes it's just liberals. Sometimes it's conservatives. You guys know. I will call us all out.
And I mean just choking him out for minutes. And yes, he was a paranoid schizophrenic in the middle of a psychotic episode. Yes, he was throwing trash at passengers.
Look how she's trying to ignore this stuff. This matters.
And approaching them. Yes, he took his jacket off and threw it on the floor. But are any of those things grounds to choke the man to death? The sad reality, and this also reminds me of the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, is that many people think that
Kyle Rittenhouse, just for you guys to know, he never shot a black person ever in his life. Look that up. Kyle Rittenhouse never shot a black person.
it is. That's enough. Vasquez captured the final 3 minutes of the hold on video, which shows Penny applying it for nearly a minute. Nearly a minute after Neely had stopped struggling and gone limp. Prosecutors allege the chokehold lasted for 6 minutes, while Penny said it lasted less than 5 minutes. The sad reality of the matter is people like Danielle Penny and George Zimmerman deputize themselves to kill black and brown people every day. And it's so normalized that subway passengers thought it was justified. I really don't even want to hear the verdict because I honestly feel like it can go either way. The fact that they even admitted testimony like, I felt so scared and in fear as evidence for why this man needed to be choked to death. Honestly, as progressives, we're in this moment of feeling really beaten down after Kamala lost and Trump is coming back to office and it feels like it's going to be open season. I'm looking at cases like this. I'm looking at Eric Adams, stupid ass, saying that he's ready to start deporting migrants who've been convicted of crimes. I mean, literally, the man.
And now, you remember I said they got to look at their left and right and see the people that's attacking them? It's their own party. She is actually attacking Eric Adams, which is one of the few Democrats that's trying to help save New York. It's like liberals have been so accustomed to tragedy, depression, that they bask in it. They cannot live without misery at this point. And I have family members that's liberals, and they've gotten so used to doom and gloom. Man, this man trying to save your city and get rid of violent people that don't belong there. Not through racism, I'm talking about illegals. Not illegals, illegals. And you attack him for that and attack him for trying to help Daniel Penny. There is a problem with the liberal hive mind.
Should be in jail right now. He should be resigning, and instead he's parroting the same right-wing talking points, the same talking points of Trump. People say New York City is a solid blue bastion, but at the rates at which we're dying on the streets here, it says otherwise.
This person is referring to the case of the unaliver Daniel Penny, where he held Jordan Neely in a chokehold for an extended period of time, causing him to unalive. Now, there have been a number of comments trickling in on the old video that this comes from, as more information has come out during the trial that is currently ongoing, such as the fact that passengers did in fact feel threatened, and the original time of the chokehold was exaggerated and was significantly shorter than previously mentioned. Of course, every single one of those comments, like this one very obviously demonstrates, isn't meant to just correct information, but specifically to defend Penny. These people making the same arguments that Penny's attorneys are making, that the people did in fact feel threatened, and Penny was a hero for saving them. Except, Penny didn't save anybody. Because it's true, Jordan Neely was verbally aggressive, which made people feel threatened, and at one point even threw down his coat, causing people to move away from him. He also didn't touch anybody. Jordan Neely didn't assault anyone.
Look at the way that they deflect. Does this guy, I want you guys to be real, look at this individual. Does he look like someone that would defend the United Healthcare CEO? I hope you see the trend I'm seeing. It's hypocrisy. And the beauty of it, it's happening at the same time unanimously. These posts are being posted at the same time on social medias.
Neely didn't even touch anyone, and the fact that you are jumping to defend someone who held him in a chokehold for an extended period of time after he went limp makes it clear you value white comfort over black lives, and that's disgusting.
So it's pretty low on this. AOC came out and pretty much attacked Daniel Penny for defending himself.
Is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. I mean, even people
she's saying Daniel Penny doesn't have remorse for taking another person's life. And the audio is somewhat very quiet, so let me kind of move this a little bit so you guys don't have to suffer through that and have to squint your eyes and pull back your ears to try to hear what AOC got to say. But what I'm trying to show and compare and contrast is how AOC is attacking Daniel Penny for defending those people on that subway. And I want you to look at the way Democrats react with the United Healthcare CEO. Now, this is a current Democrat Congresswoman, AOC. Now, compare that to Taylor Lorenz, who is a liberal journalist who got checked by TMZ for sympathizing with the shooter and sharing content that sympathized with the shooter. And she rationalized her opinions, believe it or not.
But the statement, and I just want to put it up there one more time and see how you feel about it, because this is the one that did sound like you were calling for violence. You said, and people wonder why we want these executives dead.
Yes, people do. I am speaking to the sentiment. People do want these executives dead. If you have
But you
watched,
said we want them dead, and I guess that's...
I mean, look, I'm gonna say I'm with the people in the sense that if you have watched a loved one die because insurance has denied them life-saving essential health care,
no Diddy, but
it is natural to wish that the people who
Seriously.
run those systems would suffer the same fate as your loved one. And millions of people.
Am I the only one that think this is absolutely insane? I just mouthed my whole mic. No Diddy. Bro, this is crazy, bro. How does she get a pass being a journalist, a mainstream media journalist, sitting here saying that she sympathized with a killer? Listen, we have become the barbarians. We have become such a barbaric state. And this is because liberals were given limitless passes for being hateful. Because they were told that the fight that they were fighting, they can get as dirty as they need to be to take down Trump. And that has led to them becoming very, very, very hateful people, unfortunately. It's just like a child. They were raised up in the liberal hive mind through the new Democrat Party under the guidance of hateful Barack Obama. This has created people that were somewhat like children in a political sense, that are now adults filled with hate from being molded by a party that lost its way. We would have never seen nonsense like this years ago of a journalist, a credible journalist, sitting here advocating, celebrating the death of a fucking CEO. It's disgusting. It's not funny. It's disgusting. I am so disappointed with the way some people are acting. Okay, the audience, that's one thing. But for you to be a journalist and do something like that, that is absolutely goddamn disgusting.
Across America have had this experience. So yes, am I, you know, when I say, do I wish someone dead, you know, is that advocating for them to be killed? No, of course not. But am I going to shed tears or have a lot of empathy for somebody that has facilitated the deaths of thousands of innocent Americans through intentionally denying them coverage? I am not going to, you know, weep over it. I do think that loss of life is a tragedy. I'm very against death generally, you know, as a principle. But I think, again,
as a principle,
why do we?
And you can tell she's a journalist. I'm a journalist. You got to be careful for these journalists. They slick. She said, as a principle, she's saying, and she said that, look how slick that is. It made it seem like she disagrees with the killing, but she don't. She just disagrees with killing as a principle. So she says, pretty much, in a standard scenario, she's not approving of murder. But in this scenario, this is what I would, as a journalist, this is what it would lead me to believe. But in this scenario, and she left it open for you to believe this, in this scenario, murder is fine. And that's not a stretch, because she said, she emphasized that it was not related to the scenario, but she is just against murder as a whole, but not murder without a cause.
Mourn certain deaths and condone other deaths of innocent, vulnerable people.
The GOAT. Daniel Penny is the GOAT, man. Daniel Batman. So it is a lot of hypocrisy going on in America. And I hope that some of this breakdown could help you get a piece into my mind of how I'm feeling about this situation. And I just want us to start looking at how ridiculous it all is. How can we say one is bad and the other is good? Is it because of politics? Just like I said in my last video, has politics fully divided America to the point of no return that we can't sit down and admit when something is wrong? or even admit when something is right. We are so manipulated that in 2024, you have black women, as you've seen in this video, talking about how this Daniel Penny scenario reminds them of Kyle Rittenhouse, when Kyle Rittenhouse never shot a black person in his life. It's because we have been fed so much BS that we can't even remember what's real or not. People can't even remember the skin color of the people Kyle Rittenhouse had beef with, because we're given so much BS to divide us with. And once we have these talking points, and that goes for both parties, once we have our bullet points to go after each other with, we will never have any middle ground. We got to let these bullet points go, these talking points go, and just start seeing humanity in scenarios again. And I think we could really get somewhere. Please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, click the notification bell so you can stay up on dated on my next post. This one's a bit longer than my regular post, but I hope it's justified with the amount of content that I provided. Much thanks. See you guys on the next one.